Just on just the career path and artist journey in general. But I'm actually currently really content and as happy as I've ever been doing music just because it's fun and it's not really the thing paying the bills right now, and enjoying the church work and the worship musicianship and the doing things in a local church community while also still pursuing music stuff just as something that's fun. Dusty Stages was sort of kind of a thought and a theme that came to my mind thinking about playing around and playing shows and seeing, what lasts and what doesn't, like thinking about when you go to a place, is anybody going to remember who you were or what you sang or were you any good, versus maybe remembering something you actually talked about that was of value and what would last when the stage you're playing on is old or gone, Seasons was actually inspired, I talked about John Foreman a minute ago. John Foreman had a set of 4 EPs that made up this whole album and it was all themed on the different seasons. And it was interesting. I've never had this happen before, but the inspiration for the song was actually his album artwork. I think on Spotify or something, and I was just looking at the 4 album covers, and it's just the same tree in the same spot but in different seasons. And so I've just never had that, I was writing a song thinking about that tree and thinking about the symbolism of the tree being in the same place and being the same tree but going through the different seasons. Father, Thorn, and Son function as one longer story in the album. Father is the story, and it's probably the easiest one to make out what's happening, but it's a father talking to his son on his deathbed and trying to just give his son a couple final thoughts and encouragements, things to think about and things to remember as the focus of life. Thorn follows that, and the story of Thorn sort of follows the son as he's an adult and going through life on his own and struggling a lot. Thorn came out of a kind of a rougher patch of life for me, and dealing with some self-doubt and some struggling with my temptations and like Scripture would put it, like the old me, like the old man. And then Son wraps it up with that same character on his deathbed and finally coming to a point of realizing his need for redemption, his need for salvation, and his serious need for help that his dad was talking about. So. I feel like if people can get anything lasting from the record, which is sort of the point of Dusty Stages, both as a whole and the individual song itself, the one thing I think that is my favorite, core theme of the album is that there are things that are permanent, there are things that are impermanent, and there are things that truly make a difference in a person's life and cause transformation at the deepest layer of who we are. And Dusty Stages is my first full-length record, so it's not anywhere close, probably, because I hope I get better. It's probably not even close to how good I'll get as a musician one day. I hope that 8 albums and 20 years down the road, I think it's terrible music by then. But the theme still matters to me a lot, I hope, because thinking about the love you're showing people, and for me, the representation of Christ that you're walking with, that's the kind of thing that can make eternal change for a person and make a deep connection. And even if they don't believe what you believe, there's real relationship that can be made by sharing something that's past just the small talk and the Facebook and all the other things that we spend all of our time on. And so I think there's something to be said about the impermanent things and the permanent things.